We do have the drops, of course. You know, it's basically a battle for vehicles right now. That's the problem. Method getting in there early. Of course, it's a case of can you find the AK? Can you find a weapon early on? When you do, go in like this. And Phil, this is exactly why teams talk about nobody hot drops, because it is a lottery. It is a lottery. Both teams usually end up losing a little bit more than either of them would have hoped. If they're able to make it out of there alive, certainly Cloud9 going to be maybe regretting this decision to drop here in Pochinki, especially given this circle. Moody's in trouble. He's got a pistol. Yeah, and he's already been spotted. AT's taking shots on him. All he has is a pistol. If they realized what he had, they would absolutely run him down. And he is separated from his team. But of course, they don't really know. They have an idea because they saw the parachutes, everybody dropping. They have an idea that people are to the western side of them right now. Do they push over the road? That's the question, because this is a really risky play, and they probably don't have armor or anything at that point. Especially given the fact that we did see one of the Cloud9 players with a Tommy gun as well. So just one assault rifle to their name, and they're very spread out with the 4-man strong squad of Method going to be dead center in Pochinki. So let's talk about the changes. So we were talking about M19. Obviously, they were kind of dropping alongside the Knights. They've actually not gone into Yasnaya. They're south of Yasnaya with a 2-2 split. So they've got two guys that are kind of, I guess you could say, west of shelter. It's probably the best way of putting it. Sort of that weird crossroads position. And you've got two guys that are over the north side of Yasnaya Lake, so almost pushing close to Saverny, the scrapyard and stuff like that. I can see Constantine is in at the moment. So really spread out. 4 AM on your screens here. These guys have been dropping around school and apartments. Kind of standard for them. We expect teams to sort of default to this position. It was where Ghosts were dropping for a time, but they've obviously switched down to Milton with that being available. OGN did make the changes, of course. We saw them earlier on. They went kind of down that Ferry Pier way. Now they've gone to Primorsk and Ferry Pier. So that's kind of what we expected. It's the old Navi territory. Exactly, yeah. Primorsk wide open at this point in time. So why not at least take up, send 2 of your members there. That's going to be a lot of loot, specifically for Xianjing and Yak to pick up while their other 2 members are sort of trash looting along that southern coastal line. Around the map, though, some other things are sort of sticking out. Knight's going to be looting up. Didn't seem that FaZe was able to make it all the way over there to Milton Power based off the nature of that far western plane. So I've seen this plane a number of times with FaZe, and they really, really struggle to get vehicles to get over to Milton Power early. And they basically, I don't think they're even going to get there because of the way the circle's gone. Unless they decide to really commit, instead they are sporadic looting around the compounds along that south side, which is usually, well, there's a nade. That's a done deal. AT going down. You usually see teams going down here. Basically, the teams that can't find a home, that's where they end up. That was a nice kill from Stab there, getting the knock there, finding him in the windows, and then they're following up with a nade. So 3 for 3, even play. And as we said, this is why teams ordinarily don't do it. When we're talking about hot drops, when you're talking about maybe last round, they're going to hot drop it, teams don't do it. It just simply doesn't work because there's no guarantee who the hell is going to come out on top. Even if you come out on top, you're generally going to lose a man or 2. The map is big enough for all 16 teams to spread out definitely and safely for 16, loot. Yeah, definitely for 16 teams, differing from the PGI 20-team setting. But yeah, specifically here, Method, this is exactly the trouble that they ran into in the qualifiers with Team 17. Losing 1 member, able to trade out 1, but at the grand scheme of it all, you need all 4 members pushing into these mid to late game situations based off of how strong this lobby is. I wonder how rotations are going to work. Obviously, you expect FaZeland to be down in Milton, so this rotation for them is going to make things a little interesting. Obviously, Cloud9 Method continuing to look for angles, look for kills. Everybody's kind of looted up at this stage. You can see pretty much AKM in everybody's hand at the moment. There's a DP for K-Mine. He's actually making a push down the road, so it's Cloud9 that are going looking for the frags here. Yeah, and they're in a position to possibly choke out the members from Method if they're able to get that circle around them, but we're just going to have to wait to see how this develops. K-Mine also has a VSS. K-Mine, what are the more dominant fraggers, at least in this North American scene? A great pickup for Cloud9 moving into this tournament as well. We saw them perform excellent over in Hong Kong, but they're going to continue on here, just holding off a standstill in Pochinki. Method making their way out of there. They're starting to get out of Pochinki already. They've grouped, they're pushing out, they're getting out of there. There's a great drop on top of the apartments. You don't often see that. 4AM are certainly very grateful. They're going to hop up on there and see what they're going to get out of that. You can see Captain's making his way up there. CPT Captain, whatever you prefer to call him. FaZeland, we're talking about them, obviously. Pretty rough loot. We'll see whether they're actually coming to this one pretty well geared up. Tier 3, obviously, items for CPT. Delighted with that. Pretty much center circle as well, by the way. the area of the apartments in Rozhok. Rozhok Apartments, School Apartments, I don't know. Well, they've got a number of names, but either way, you know where it is. Everybody's dropped there and everybody's died there.
Yep. Previously inhabited by tainted minds in our qualifying round, so 4 a.m. knew that it was going to be wide open for the taking as they came into these final stages. But now we've got Vitality making their own rotation up from Sosnovka Island. Not going to face much resistance unless they continue on this path up north, and they'll be crossing right next to Pachinki, where Method and C9 are still sort of engaged in a loose firefight.
Phase 9 gone just east of Potato Hill. They've rotated already, kind of grouping up there. 4 a.m. Looks like they're going to stick around pretty much where they are. Optic looking to come a little further south out of Rozhok. You can see they're pushing the compound that Long is in right now. We obviously heard about 4 a.m. They're making changes. Aluka is the player that didn't come here. I think Forever was the man that came in and replaced him. Aluka, former League of Legends man from World Elite, along with obviously God V. Obviously a big League of Legends player. Both of them actually very successful in that game. It's something we've seen a number of times, actually. You know, looking towards, obviously, Eska, formerly in Gen G, very successful in multiple FPSs, a massive world champion in so many different games over there. And we've seen a lot of players coming in, you know, from Arma as well. D's here taking shots onto Vard. He's going to blast on by. Of course, both these teams coming out of Georgia Pole North and South, inevitably going to clash on the routes.
Yeah, and these shots are actually going to be splitting off Vard from the rest of Welcome to South George. We can see some shots coming out onto Gaxi and Miracu right now, just trying to avoid this, but wide in the field. Going to be easy shots, maybe not to land, but at least to put out that pressure. Phase. This is a position that we are not used to seeing these guys in.
Yeah, so they've gone for yellows down here. You can see up on the hill, Potato Hill there, Vitality there, a Vanguard looking like they're actually trying to join that same spot. An Octave making his way there. Mumino at the moment just stopping off en route. Probably going to trade some meds out here. The rest of his team joining him as they try and regroup for a position. Ghost coming in. Basically, everybody's crowding around the center spot being School Apartments. Everyone getting those small little compounds as near and as close as they can. The only teams coming late is going to be MVP and OGN.
Yeah, the least risk involved.
And Gen G, all Korean teams late.
Right, exactly. And that may be playing into their strategy. I don't think we're going to see them make a transition anytime soon, at least commit to it fully. But certainly OGN going to be taking their time to make it into this first circle. But with so many teams opting to sort of diversify their risk, take out a lot of that riskiness in their play for positioning, it's going to be crowding them right next to one another.
And this is interesting, right? Because of the circle, obviously, it's a big, centralized, dominant circle. We've seen a lot of hard shifts.
We have.
It could go north. And MVP are the only team so far north of the river. There's not a lot of compounds there. It could be carnage if it decides to swing up that way. Gaxi finds himself Keen. That's a long-range knock. You can see Keen was in the compound, but he is alone. So there's nobody else going to be able to get in and help him. Deez was nearby, but the shots, as Keen tries to crawl his way out, can't really get any support. I don't think Deez is on his way to try and help. I don't know whether he's going to get there in time. He's coming down the hill. Yeah,
the lines of sight from Welcome to South George right now are going to be so dominant if Gaxi is able to spot out any of the support players coming in from Avangard. Diaz going to be rolling in right now in that US, trying to crash into these yellows, but certainly the information is being given from Gaxi to the rest of Welcome to South George that we're going to be having to deal with a threat directly to our south.
Yeah, they've kind of rotated in, so now they know there's two there. And the fact they know that is because they saw the vehicle coming in to get the revive. So they're well aware that there's only two there. Nobody else was in that compound. Gen G coming in late. They're just going to pull up on this edge of this hillside. Vitality just topping out on Potato. Vanguard, two players just to the south of them. OGN, the only team not in the circle right now. They're just coming away up from Primorsk, and Tempo Storm, of course, also down the south side of Pachinki. Pachinki still occupied, by the way, by Cloud9 and Method. Method have kind of gone to the side of it, the east side of it. Cloud9 sticking, looks like, to the northern side of it, looking to try and get some hits. I think they've gone kind of towards the garage area, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of telling as to what they're going to be able to leave Pachinki with two teams looting there and not exactly killing one another, reaping the loot off of those other enemy players. They're not going to have a lot to work with, and we've seen to win these games, you need so much utility to make it through that late game scenario. So
Liquid do decide to come out of Yaz now. They're kind of just occupying a number of compounds there. Gen G, that's I'm not sure I agree with that. I actually think they should have just stayed where they were. They've decided to try to move further in, obviously getting lit up by Ghost. And now they're going to keep going north, and now they're going to run into Knights. I think they were probably better off because they came so late. They should have just stayed where they were. And look at this. Method and Cloud9 continuing to trade blows. Stab this time, getting Raffi down the circle. It goes pretty much central onto Welcome to South Georgian School sort of area outside of Rozhok.
Yeah, not a bad circle for these guys to work with, but you have to think in Pochinki specifically. There's so much on the line between these two teams. Cloud9 just can't let Method rotate out of there. They have to put some pressure onto these guys, but off of the eastern edge of the circle, so many rotations going to be coming in right now. Avangard going to be departing this Potato Hill, this Pochinki Hill, trying to rotate up.
What is going on? FaZe Clan, they're crashing into the apartments. M19 pulling up on the hills, 19 pulling up just below them. 4AM, of course, were in them compounds. It is very clustered. Remember, up on the hillside, you've got Knights, Vitality, sorry, on the top of Potato Hill. Ghost are trying to come around behind them, and here's M19 coming through. This is an absolute cluster of all Clown Fiesta proportions is probably the best word I can say without completely swearing on air, because all these teams were trying to centralize around these apartments. That was the center of the circle, and now they've kind of all had to sweep themselves across the west.
And look at the position that Allergen has been caught out in, separated off from their other members of Ghost, but he did put out the shots. M19 knows exactly that they have a threat behind this rock, split off from the rest of his squad, and are they going to be able to hold off from this push? McCoy going to be wrapping around the flank, finds a beautiful connection with the M416 on the M19's Bachelor.
Such a nice flank, such a nice play from McCoy. The highest fragger of the group stage. Absolutely dominant performance. Getting tons of damage in there as well. Balak, I think I just saw an aid go in. Turtle does as well. They're raining down an M19. M19 captain passive is not going to work for you this time. You have to take the fight on. McCoy's certainly looking to try and do that. Elite player gets a little peek. They can't go too deep though, because 4AM and FaZe are going to be trying to take those third-party shots along with Knights. Knights is positioned there, all staring at them. Look at the minimap on the bottom right. You can see the tracer fire. Look at all the angles raining down onto M19.
Yeah, so much commotion going off here on the hill. Going to give so much information to these teams to work with, specifically 4AM and FaZe up to the north, but also Avangard down to the south. M19 needs to be so careful because they are in a spot to get absolutely torn through. We can see trades coming out left and right. McCoy going to be knocked, Constantine going to be knocked for M19 as the shots continue to come out. Ghost just trying to avoid these lines of sight, trying to throw out some utility to get their top fragger up.
Yeah, it's actually backfiring for Ghost because they are the ones that are showing themselves, silhouetting over the top of the hill. They're the ones that are getting third-partied while they're trying to be the aggressor, and M19 are just sitting in the smoke, reviving quite happily. Both teams back with 4 on their feet. Looks like Ghost have decided, let's just get out of here. This is not worth the fight. OGN engaging with Team Liquid. This is all the way over to the west side of Ruins now. Liquid took a big rotate all around the northern side. Obviously, we're in Yasnai, decided to go up and around the right into there. OGN, of course, coming up from Primorsk. Easy rotate for them. They've got Tempo Storm nearby as well while we watch once again Ghost. They've pushed away from this fight. They don't want to engage anymore because it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working, especially with these shots coming out of school right now, specifically on top of Ghost in particular. They're not going to be seeing any shots going on to M19, so it's really Ghost drawing all of the attention from these surrounding squads. Back, though, here, it's going to be Cloud9 able to take out possibly one of the members of Welcome to South Georgia, possibly a spectator bug, but regardless, they're going to be pushing Welcome to South Georgia out of their previous position as we see them rotating around off the western edge of school. Meanwhile, back on this hill, though, nothing is really changing. None of these teams are able to safely rotate out of these positions without taking too much in the form of casualties.
Gen G in the distance. They're trying to find him spot. They're pulling up near Method, of course. Method coming out. Old Pochinki, just the 2. That's all that's standing with Raffi down earlier on. So Chris and Moorman, what are they going to do? Gen G, Wicked's going to be coming in here as reporting it. It's like, this is free, this is safe, let's get in here. The rest of Gen G are going to pull in. The Method are going to be in trouble if they're not careful. FaZe Clan did go into the apartments. Knights at see just sauntering around on the bottom there. OGN in the hills, looking to try and take a fight while Tempo Storm sit in a 2-2 split in the yellow compounds, and they also have 2 players over to the left-hand side of your screen right now. You can just catch them in the minimap in the bottom right-hand corner. There they are, Zampa and Maluki. So they've Kind of got a 2-2 split. It's a good 2-2 split as well, because we've seen circles finish in these hills a number of times.
Right. The main point of the 2-2 split is to be able to provide that utility back and forth between your two duo pairs. If you're too far separated, then effectively the 2-2 split is hurting your team just far too much to be able to continue on and effectively execute off of that strategy. Liquid trying to make their way in as well. We saw them lose Ibiza in transition. The vehicle explosion going to be so deadly for this squad, and this hard shift up to the northeast going to be including the channel as well. So a lot of obstacles in the way for some of these squads trying to rotate from the southwestern positions.
Now, where FaZe Clan are is almost likely the center point of the next circle. Because the channel is there, as you pointed out. Method do take down Sims, so they managed to deal with the one member of Gen G that decided to push in towards them. So with the circle, it's a hard shift once again. It is going to cause chaos. I'm seeing OGN on the move, Tempo Storm on the move, Liquid have to move, Cloud9 have to move, Vanguard, Vitality, Gen G, all trying to wake their way around. Now the problem is, think of school and apartments, it's congested. It's got 4 AM, FaZe Clan, M19, Ghost, Knights, all in that spot. Optic, they're still sitting in Rozhok. They're like, keep us away from here. And of course, MVP, who came down so late, are in a very good spot. The problem is, are they being too greedy? Because look at this. The Jeeps, the vehicles, the bikes, they're ramping themselves across Liquid and Tempo Storm. Well, welcome to South George. With just 2 alive now, are trying to keep them at bay.
Putting out so much damage, but also the school positions. 4 AM has these insane lines of sight, the elevated positions on top of Liquid. Jeem's going to be taking a lot of damage in the process on the motorcycle, almost spinning out a little bit, just trying to get out of dodge. Dropped down to about 30% HP, and he's going to be knocked almost immediately by Long. Yeah,
that was... As soon as you lose that vehicle in that spot, everybody's been here around school. There's just no cover. There's no cover at all. Tempo Storm lose one, though. Of course, welcome to South Georgia. Trying to catch people in the rotations. OGN decided to actually go to Watertown. They haven't rotated yet. That's a tricky rotate over towards Rozhok. I'm wondering whether they're actually maybe thinking of going around north. Meanwhile, over at Vanguard on Potato Hill, they're coming down onto the back of Ghost. And a couple of taps, and that's going to deal with Ghost. They're in all sorts of trouble. They could be going out 16th here. Where's the last man gone? It's McCoy. He's got himself well away from this. He's deep towards school.
Yeah, Avangard was positioning themselves just south of that entire hill engagement that we were previously watching, and finally making that execute, pushing down on top of Ghost, able to get that 3 kill, leaving just 1 member to push on. All 16 teams still remaining as we move on to the mid game. 50 players alive, however.
I really like Vitality's move. They were on Potato Hill, and they've chose to go deep around the south and come in on the eastern side. So they're aware that that eastern side is clear right now. They kind of have the whole area to themselves, nothing on their back. As I say that, Gen G are going deep in the blue on that side. Here in Rozhok, there you can see Tempo Storm, welcome South George, starting to try and take some territory into Optic's Rozhok starting area. Basically, they really haven't had to move. They haven't had to get vehicles. The circles kind of come to them. And actually, Rozhok's one of those strange towns, right? Because it does have good vision. It's obviously a lot of people tend to stay out of the towns, but Rozhok does have good range vision.
Yeah, people talk about Rozhok not being the optimal loot, the prime loot position, but Optic loves it. They're able to play off of it at least fairly well, better than any other team that we've seen do so. Avangard, though, going to be taking up spot where Ghost Gaming was previously holding. Spotting out 4 AM in the school, a lot of shots coming out, but they need to worry because the threat from the south is going to be presenting themselves, but it's going to be Method. X-Chris is going to be flying by, drawing so much attention from Inductive.
Blasting by. Here they come. Moleman going to come in. They're trying to get into the apartments. You can see Chris looks like he's managed to make it in there. Moleman, though, not going to work out. His vehicle spun out right in no man's land. And it's going to be 4 AM in the end that will collect themselves the kill and go back to trading with a Vanguard.
You hit that back tire on the buggy and out it goes spinning wide, and unfortunately, Molman going to be feeling the hurt of that. X-Chris left to fend off himself as one player, a solo player for Method. And here is FaZe. In the apartments, they've got at least a little bit of elevated advantage to work with, spotting out Knights, making their own rotation. But with the blue zone almost closing, here comes the shift away from the north, down south.
Ooh, there we go. We expected it, right? We said FaZe Clan's position in those apartments could be key. Look at McCoy, the only man standing for Ghost. He got himself in that little ridge line. I believe there's a shack there. I'm pretty sure there's a little shack there that he's in. So he's the only man in there. He may get pulled up on, though. Welcome to South George. They're coming that way. Larson's making his way across there. They may be looking at these shacks. This is really the only territory available. You can see Liquid on the shack on the left. Ghost and McCoy in the shack ahead. Larson tries to get in there. Knights blows him up. And now Vard could be the first man going out. Welcome to South George. The last man standing. Pulls up at the back of Oxtic. It's Drayden that takes him down. And welcome to South George, eliminated in 16th place.
Excellent overwatch coming out from Knights. Knights, able to protect Voxic from any crashes coming out from Welcome to South George. But with so many teams opting to take up shelter in the southern part of this circle, if it shifts north in circle number 5, it is going to be an all-out battlefield.
Yeah, these apartments are very congested right now. M19 in a Method. Obviously, Chris is the only man standing. A Vanguard, they're inside the zone where they're staying, so they don't really need to take a shift here. As you mentioned, Knights are in there. FaZe Clan are in there. FaZe Clan trying to spread out a little bit, by the way. Trying to take a bit more territory. 2-2. They're very good at defending to these sort of buildings. But, of course, FaZe Clan yet to have a good performance at Star Ladder 6 games in. Can they do it in game number 7? Optic, they've had to push towards the edge of Rozhok, and they've got OGN coming in the backs.
Yeah, sort of almost hedging their bets that the circles is going to be shifting north. Certainly if it shifts south, they're going to face so much resistance trying to make their way down in. Able to spot out the remaining members, Zampa from Tempo Storm, taking them out in 15th place. But they need to worry. Gen G making a far rotation, as well as OGN pushing off of that northwestern corner. Will they be able to hold off this push?
A Vanguard, they're going to get the res up, and they need it quick, because look at this, Cloud9 coming in their backs as well. Cloud9, of course, while they're trying to traverse this hill, they've got to be careful at 4am. 4am going to be taking shots on them. Vitality just got a knock on the Knights. They need to creep in on that eastern edge, while OGN and Optic start to engage in Rozhok.
Draydon makes a very risky approach to the shack where Cremo was previously knocked, safely able to get there and able to get inside to pick up his teammates. So Knight's going to be continuing on, trying to keep that dominant force going, but M19 continues to put out gunshot after all of the teams trying to at least formulate themselves on the edge of this mountain directly to the south. 4am continues to be a threat for any of these teams trying to work off the hillside.
So risky, for example, running around on the roof of the apartments. You've got a Vanguard in the hills, you've got Cloud9 in the hills, you've got 4am in the school. Everybody looking to try and take these shots on you. That is so risky play, but it got away with it. Moody down by CPT from 4am. Cloud9, they're trying to work the way down these hills just to the right of your screen there, in the smoke somewhere. The question is, oh no, this is not good for Cloud9. All the wheels have gone out of their vehicle. The Dasher sliding down. It's Stab and K-Mine trying to keep themselves alive. They're going to bail out. They've got nowhere to go, and they are eliminated in 14th place with the wheels gone. They had no method of escape.
Just a few minutes ago, we saw Method's Moleman get taken out in almost the exact same position. This no man's land in between the school and the hill, providing such a strong obstacle for all teams alike. But as we continue to see the blue zone shrink, Gen G is going to be making their way off of that northern edge into Rozhok territory, Optic territory, but Optic is concerned about the oncoming push from OGN.
It's a pink on pink battle. Optic coming up, the green wall trying to defy the 22 killing OGN in the last matchup. The chicken dinner winners. Song Jang just comes straight around the corner into the hail of bullets from Bahawaka. Takes him down with ease. Song Yang finished off. Christis goes down. It's Loki that actually gets the kill there from Gen G in the end. And Wicked, the last man standing for Gen G in that building just behind Hetra. Yak, first place for them in the last game. Current leaders of Star Ladder, but definitely not picking up the win here.
No, complete opposite to game number 1 of what we were used to seeing from OGN, at least in that game in particular. But Optic going to be disengaging off of this. Yak just trying to pound those meds, trying to counteract this blue damage. But Avangard going to be making a huge push in. Going to be flying in right on top of Liquid Samty. Samty able to get a quick knock and a kill, wiping out at Vanguard. Huge play coming out from the solo player.
Yeah, Scoom and Samty peeping out there, keeping themselves alive. Of course, the circle has shifted, and it's a northern shift, and we were talking about this. Everybody in these apartments now, FaZe kind of just about inside the circle, but they are going to get pushed. M19 in this compound and not in the circle. Method Chris just inside the circle. 4am on the edge of school will be in the circle. Vitality have made a push as well on the eastern side, and OGN and Gen G now, they have to get past the green wall. It is stopping them out there. Donald Trump would be proud.
Yak still trying to counteract this blue zone damage. He's been sitting in this house for so long. Optic just going to be essentially forgetting about him as this next blue zone will be pushing into the circle. Wicked going to be rolling in around Optic as well. They still need to worry about this threat, but with so many wide open areas in this next circle, the lines of sight between these teams are going to be absolutely incredible.
M19 on the move. They're trading. Look at that. They've quickly, that's risky. 4 men in the smoke. One nade would wipe out the entire team, but they've managed to get across to the second apartment. Now the Knights are on the move. Texas trying to crash in, but McCoy is in there. He peeks out, takes down Texas. Now where's Voxic going? He's going to go straight into Liquid. Oh, he ran over Scoob on the way in. He's not taking it down to a 1v1. He's just got to deal with Samty around the side, and Voxic's going to pop a nade here. It's going to force Samty out. Underhands it through. Samty comes out around the side, but he gets him down. Samty has to get back inside. Oh, just about survives with the vehicle blowing up in his face.
Wow, what a play coming out from Samty. Unfortunately, lost Scoom in the process, but I don't even think that Knights player knew that anyone was in the smoke. He just went blowing by and then up on the screen. You have knocked out Liquid Scoom.
I don't think Scoom knew what happened either. He's like, there's a vehicle coming towards me. I'm dead. It's just happened. Yeah. By the way, McCoy, he got in there so early. Remember, Ghost could have been wiped out a long time ago. They lost all the other 3 players very early on. Yeah, creeping his way in, snaking in on the edge there, see whether he can get any further. MVP, by the way, we haven't really mentioned them, sitting very comfortable in a compound, along with Vitality. Both these compounds, the question is, where will the next shrink go?
Our previous shrink took us up north, and if it follows in suit, MVP will be sitting in such a dominant position to look down on the south. All of the teams trying to rotate out of school and Razak apartments are going to feel the hurt. The pressure will be applied. But McCoy, pretty much a last-ditch effort, and he's going to be rewarded for it. Time after time, going to be smack center.
So FaZe Clan's spread has maybe paid off. They're going to have the compound that Gemty and Mexi in is going to be the only compound in the circle in all of those apartments. They're going to get pushed. It's going to be carnage in the apartments, no doubt about it. Method, M19 maybe looking to already make that push. Of course, Chris needs to make the sneak across as well. Bahawaka takes down 4AM. That's a big, long Kar98 shot. They are on their school. Now, 4AM have to move out of there. There we see M19 trying to make a little peek across. Vitality, they have to move. MVP still in the compound, and McCoy is bang center in the circle, right in the middle, in his little shack.
I can just picture him inside of that shack. He's got the fanny pack on, and he is absolutely loving what he is seeing right now. I mean, he's able to pick up kills, too. Normally, we just see a player hide out inside the shack, but McCoy is not giving up. He knows that these kill points are going to be important.
Yak, so patient. Optic, Valiant, and Bahawaka. If either of them turn around and look, they just see him lying there. They've got to realize there's still someone behind him, but they're dealing with 4AM. 4AM on the move. God V's going to try and crash Samty's compound. That's going to be one down, though. Forever gets picked off as he tries to get in around there. Is it going to work out? As now Vitality try and crash in towards the Knights, but the Knights hang on. Kramer, he's down to nothing. He's going to try and get himself healed up. Jazz is going to toss the nade in there while this is happening. Samty's still got himself 4AM outside on his doorstep. And, of course, FaZe Clan, they've lost one member. Gemty's still in here. M19 crashed their apartment here. So this is happening on 3 different fights right now. Kramer keeping Vitality out. He's got 3 members of Vitality pushing him as we watch Gemty here up against M19. 4AM losing players to Optic as they try and push in. Samty still hanging on to the shack as Godfrey lanes the nades. Oh, and he goes down.
It's going to be good. We thought maybe Samty was going to be able to hold off another push, but not able to do so. Kramer going to be feeling the hurt from Vitality as they roll and take over the shack and eliminate Knights in 10th position. Knights, very dominant, at least performance here.
Optics are crashing onto the shack. God V's tried to get in there. Now Valiant's trying to push in. So this shack has had 4 teams fighting over it so far. God V surely not going to come out against this. They're either side of the wall. Don't let the X-ray to put you off here. Valiant gets himself healed up. God V goes for the nade. Is he going to underhand it outside? Oh, that could be huge. He could catch Hellpack around the side. No, he will get him down in the end there. And 4AM, they have just Long alive now as he tries to creep in. He's going to try and get around the side. But Optic are getting battered and range. Third party, and it's going to be Shadow. Can he land the shot onto Valiant? No, not quite able to get the angle.
The only person on the map that is not taking damage, is not taking gunfire, is going to be McCoy, dead center. And with this next circle popping out, he does not have to move, and that's exactly what he wants. He knows if he has to move, he's going to get absolutely obliterated. Now, all of these other teams, specifically from the southwest, from the Razak apartments, have to figure out how they're going to be rotating out with so many threats looking their direction.
M19, you know, by hook or by crook, they're into the top 8 again. They've been engaged in fights this time. They haven't really gone looking for the fights, but they have been involved in them. Talking about McCoy, by the way, he's in the only compound that's left. The little shack that is the only shack that's inside the zone right now. All these players in this little area. Oh, that's a little underhand. It could sneak in. They might not hear it. He does. He manages to get M19 down. Has he got any more to follow it through? No, it's just going to be a flashbang, unfortunately. Oh, he's flashed himself. That's not gone well. I don't think he's got a great bit of bullets left. I think he's got 27 bullets. He has to go looking for this. Gets himself in around the side, will get himself the flush, gets around the side, and in the end, he will go down. 8th place for him. We just saw 4AM go down as well. I think there's going to be 7th maybe for them as they get wiped out. FaZe still with Gustav and Jemty alive, by the way. M19 move in. Optic, they're crashing onto McCoy's shack. We're not watching it, but they're going to come around the side. McCoy keeps one away. Get the third party and work out. He gets them. Optic get flushed out in 6th place. McCoy hangs on.
Youngtan from MVP able to be a bit of a bodyguard, but here comes the push. Yempty was outside of the apartments on a bit of an overhang, ends up popping in, wiping out the rest of M19. M19 really not able to push further into this game, wiped out in 5th position. But Yempty, the solo player from FaZe, trying to at least come off of this southern flank, as the 4-man strong squad of MVP is now positioning themselves on the northern side of the road, just looking down, the only team left with 4 players.
Yeah, they really have prime position. Jemty trying to tank out the blue. He's got no way out here. As soon as he comes out of this doorway, Vitality are sat waiting to shoot. Now, MVP, they're looking for the fight and most likely pick up the chicken dinner here. They have not had to do anything, really. They've come down from Severny. They've took a little mosey on down the road. And now McCoy actually getting pushed. They know McCoy's in the shack. They found McCoy. He's going to go down. So Jemty, this tanking of the meds has actually got himself a 3rd position. The best finish so far for FaZe Clan.
Absolutely. And that was the only thing that Yempty had to resort to at that point in time. But now 2 teams remaining. MVP versus Vitality. A quick knock going to be coming out on the Monkey from Siege with the SLR. But the shots continue to erupt back and forth. Trade's going to be had with Yazza on Alpaca.
Yeah, Jazzo catches Alpaca down. He tried to push up, and he got tagged up in the end. But Peng, remember, they have the shack. The circle's shrunk. It's kind of worked out for MVP. They do have this little ridge line, but they will have to go just over the brow of it to be inside the circle. They have to try and make their move now. They're trying to get the revive down. Alpaca's crawling. Siege is going to go for the revive on him as Peng basically holds the line with the Kar 98. A Youngtan in the distance. He needs to get that UAZ sat right next to it, so I think he's probably going to try and drive it in. Now he is. He's just popped inside the vehicle, so that's going to be the little bit of cover. Probably park it next to the shack as well to give them as much cover as they can. No, he goes to the side, so they're trying to keep a wide spread to try and give as many angles on Vitality as they can.
McCoy is no longer in the shack, but the shack is still inside of this circle. Peng going to be at least occupying it for the time being. Pushed up, trying to hold a dominant position in this circle, not giving Vitality anything to work with, as his other members from his team are going to be pushing up onto him. The smoke's going to be coming out, trying to give himself some concealment. A lot of them missing, but some of them going out.
Bouncing back, that shack's about to get very smoky. And this is the thing, right? MVP have not been involved in any fights at all. They haven't had to take a fight. Their compound's been quite happy, so they've got a lot of utility able to take on this fight. They've got the numbers advantage as well, 4v3. Question is, can Vitality land one of those big, important opening shots? Youngtan almost finding the header. Jazza tags him up, sits him down. Get yourself healed back up and join the fight. Monkey trying to toss a fight out, predicting where Alpaca had gone to. MVP actually very tight with one another at the moment. A couple of these nades coming in, they could be quite fruitful. We're seeing it just falling short. That will get the car down. Alpaca doing the job there and taking it out. But it's MVP really with the best cover position here. You've got to favor them. Odds definitely in their favor.
Yeah, whether or not MVP will have to push south based off of our next circle. I guess our final circle going to be coming up here in just a matter of seconds, and MVP is positioning themselves very well. They've got the hard cover to work with. They've got the shack as well as the vehicles, but now Vitality going to be resorting to the snake play, just trying to work their way up in a prone position.
So who is going to find one of those early shots? Drop your backpacks, drop your any excess that you need as they snake the way forward. Obviously, it's all about getting that star, that central spot, and you can see it's pretty much where Peng is sitting right now. So nades continuing to come forward. They're not getting the range on the nades. They're basically lying prone throwing the nades. It doesn't give you a great deal of distance on them. Look at all the smokes coming out from MVP. So what is going to happen here? I think Alpaca and Siege are looking to maybe flank around the side. Youngtan finds himself the shot in shadow. That could be the end of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what MVP wanted. Now they have to execute off of it. And as we see, they're going to be pushing now in on them, flanking around them, just choking them out completely around that eastern side of the circle, just trying to spot out the remaining.
We're not watching it, but what's happening is Peng's here, but look to the minimap. You can see Siege and Alpaca have made this perfect flank, gives them such a big angle, a wide position, and now Jazza and Monkey, they've got absolutely nowhere to hide. Look at this, the shots across the side. Siege is going to find them. It's MVP that will take themselves a chicken dinner here in game number 2 at Varangal. Monkey, the last man standing, he will go down. They didn't need to do a great deal. They got 7 kills in the end there, MVP. A simple win for them. The circle went their way. But in the end, they executed the final play very well.
That's MVP that we were used to seeing coming out of our qualifying stages, mixing it up now with our top 8 teams from the first season of the StarSeries and I-League event. But what a dominating finish. I mean, they were able to just pretty much choke Vitality out for